Hello all, welcome back to Train of Thought. My name is Trey. This is where I share my thoughts on the Winnipeg Jets. It's a happy day in Jetland after the Jets took down the Maple Leafs in Toronto last night, 4-3 in a shootout. I had a good feeling going into this game, even though based off of track record, I didn't really have much to base that good feeling on. But the Jets justified that with a winning effort. I'll say that. I don't know if I can say this or that, but they got the job done. So let's break it down. The Jets got off to a 1-0 lead on a goal by Nikolai Ehlers, where he caught a break, and Freddie Anderson, the goalie of the Leafs, tried to play a Jets dump in, and he stumbled behind the net, and Ehlers got the puck and pretty much had a wide open net to fire at, and 1-0 Jets. One quick note, with this scoring recap, this is the second game in a row where the Jets have not trailed in the game. They were tied, but they never trailed, and that's 3 wins in a row where they haven't trailed. So that's it's a nice trend. Let's keep that going, boys. So 1-0, and then not long after, I think it's just seconds after, Austin Matthews, love him or hate him, he's pretty good. He tied the game with his first of 2 goals on the night, so it's 1-1. And then for the second game in a row, the Jets scored a shorthanded goal with Mason Appleton getting it done. Nice play, poking the puck away from John Tavares and then fighting him off to get it through Freddie Anderson's 5-hole. So 2-1 Jets. Leafs tied it up, and then Mark Scheifele scored to make it 3-2. And then it kind of became a game in the third period where it was like, are the Jets going to be able to hold them off? And for the most part, they did. I really liked their third period because they had a lot of excellent scoring opportunities. You go back to that Minnesota game on Saturday, and the Jets, I thought, were awful in the third period. And you can say, well, the Wild were bringing pressure. Yeah. The Jets did not bring pressure until they had to, and that was after the Wild tied the game. The Jets did not play like that. They got a lot of great scoring opportunities, and some people, myself included, might say that they should have won it in regulation because they had some chances in the last minute or so to close the door with some empty netters, with Kyle Connor and Patrick Laine both not getting the job done. With that, it wasn't like they Patrick Steffened it, if you know what I'm talking about, where they had a wide open net and just skated past it. It was more they had guys on them, and I know for Laine's attempt there was somebody hanging out in the Leafs net trying to block it, but they didn't get it home against someone that's not a goalie. So, and those guys are world class scorers, so they just weren't able to get it done that time. And then Austin Matthews, I mentioned he had 2 goals. Well, you haven't talked about the second one yet. Yeah, and I don't know if I really want to. He scored with about 14 seconds left. The Leafs won a face-off, got it to Matthews, who, I don't know, bombed a one-timer home to make it 3-3. But, it was a bummer. At the same point, it's like Toronto's pretty good. The Jets over the last few years have not played well against the Leafs are not found a whole lot of success. The last time that they're in Toronto, they had a late lead, and Toronto scored 2 quick goals to kind of steal the game. That was the beginning of last season. That was a painful game and kind of a sign of what the Jets were going to do last season. But you went into overtime and just kind of had to be hopeful as a Jets fan, and that was a really exciting overtime. The Jets had some glorious opportunities. They had a 2-on-0 where Jack Roslovic got robbed by Freddie Anderson. The Jets definitely had the better scoring opportunities in overtime. Mark Scheifele had a glorious opportunity, got stopped by Freddie Anderson. He got him to the shootout. Then in the shootout, the Leafs led off with Jason Spezza, and I'm thinking, Hellebuck, you got to stop this guy. No offense against Jason Spezza. I know he's a good player, but he's not Austin Matthews or, Mitch Marner or Nylander, anything like anybody like that. So you got to stop this guy. Spezza scores, and it's like, great. Great, that's awesome. Then Kyle Connor goes up, and he gets stopped, and great. The Jets are going to lose in a shootout here. Then Hellebuck stops Mitch Marner. Laine goes in and scores. He's fun to watch in the shootout because he doesn't do a whole bunch of dekes. He just goes and shoots and plays his strength. Another thing about Laine that I didn't mention. I rag on his defense, and I'm not the only one, because he doesn't put a great effort out there. The Minnesota game, the first goal of the game, awful. His defense in overtime was awesome. There was a couple plays where there was some budding scoring opportunities for the Leafs, and he just poked his stick in there. I mean, it wasn't like he was swarming around. He just kind of casually poked his stick in there, and looked like, but he poked it in there at the right time and knocked the puck away and broke up some opportunities. He did that at least twice. So props, Laine. Even though I'll not be happy I'm not happy when you don't have great defensive efforts, I will tell you when I like it. So back to the shootout. Laine gets it in. Then I can't remember who shot next for the Leafs. Then it was Matthews. Matthews scores. Why did I forget like the best Leaf scoring? Then Scheifele goes in, and kind of like Laine, but Mark Scheifele style, he risks one home. So tied at 2. Hellebuck in round 4 stops Willie Nylander, and then Blake Wheeler, the closer. I love when he goes out. It seems like, I don't know if they just position it like, when we get a chance to close this thing, we're going to put Wheeler out there, because he is a great closer in shootouts. He's done it multiple times this year. Over the last 3 seasons or so, he's closed out a few games. He goes in, a great move, goes in with speed, then slows down to do a stop pretty much, has Anderson kind of wondering where to be, and then he fires one through Anderson's 5-hole. And then he does his patented, rips off his chin strap, flicks his helmet up, and kind of points like, let's go home, boys, or let's get out of here. So, and it seems like whenever Wheeler does that, it's on the road. So that's even more clutch. That's your captain. That's your leader. So that was awesome. So I'm going to get a little long here again. Just some stats from the game. We talked about Wheeler, or Ehlers. Blake Wheeler also got an assist in the game. He's been on a roll lately, getting close to averaging a point per game again. Mark Scheifele's goal was his 21st. Ehlers was his 18th. Kyle Connor had an assist. My man Tucker Poolman had an assist, and it was the #1 Sportsnet like Hockey Night in Canada crew with Jim Houston, and you're hearing Tucker Poolman's name a lot and going, great play by Poolman, great play by Poolman, and that's my guy. Hellebuck did what he needed to do, made some clutch saves. He's getting out of his funk a little bit. I know a lot of people are waiting for him to have a big drop off for him being the busiest goalie in the NHL as far as saves that he's had to make. It was a match of the two busiest goalies because Anderson is the second busiest. So another big road win. The Jets go into Boston tonight to play the Bruins, and I don't know how to feel about this one because I didn't expect the Jets to. I was hopeful, but the Jets have not played well against the Eastern Conference, and then they go out and then they beat the Canadians that kind of took it to them in Winnipeg right before Christmas. Beat the Leafs, who, even though the Jets dominated them in the shots, the Leafs soundly beat them on the scoreboard. So it'll be interesting to see how the Bruins do. With the Bruins, if we take them to overtime, you got a chance to beat them because they have 11 overtime losses. At the same time, the Jets are coming off of a hard-fought game where they played in overtime. So how much will they have left in the tank? So, yes, we'll see how that one goes. But yeah. Another note: the penalty kill was perfect again, and for the second straight game, got a shorthanded goal. So going back to the Minnesota game, this is 3 games in a row where they have not given up a regulation power play goal. And that goal that they gave up in the Minnesota game was controversial. Well, whatever you want to say about it. So yeah. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. And I also want to say, Leafs fans, I see you out there. Thanks for and Jets fans too. Don't get me wrong, but the views for my last Leafs video was substantially more than the normal views for my videos. So thank you, Leafs fans. Appreciate that. Feel free to check out other videos, even though it isn't your team. I know you're passionate hockey fans. Check out another Canadian team. So, yeah. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you probably within the next 12 hours or something like that. Thanks, and have a great day.